Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of On the Grass. My name is Dave Swerski, and I'm so glad you've decided to spend a few minutes of your day here with me to talk about our favorite sport, football, and our beloved team, the Bears, who are no longer winless on the season. Woo! Let's go! On today's show, we're gonna dig into that win, take a look around the league, and pick winners of each NFL game for week 4 of the season 2. But before we do all that, please do make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss a Swerski Silver Lining parody song or update. And drop a top Bears in the comments down below to let me know you're with me, my friends. And if you're willing to show your support of my work out in the world, head to daveswerskistore.com to check out all the merch I've created that you can sport to show you're with me. Let's go! All right, let's get into it, shall we? Bears. This past Sunday, our Bears took on the Dallas Cowboys here in Chi-Town. Many pundits out there picked for the Cowboys to win this one, and for our old head coach, the Floos, to come back to Soldier Field and get the best of the QB he drafted as the D coordinator now in Dallas. And for Dak and CeeDee Lamb and that Cowboys offense to run wild on our defense that was on the ropes, injured, and already being counted out. But those pundits were wrong, my friends. As the Bears got things going early and never let off the gas through the whole game. The Bears put 2 TDs on the board in the first quarter on Sunday, and they now have scored more points in the first quarter through 3 games this season, 28, than they did in 17 games last season, 17. 3 weeks into the Ben Johnson era, they're now tied with the Seattle Seahawks for most points in the first quarter this season. And for the full perspective, they were last in scoring in the first quarter last season. Let's go! Things are definitely beginning to trend in the right direction. This win at home marked the first win in the friendly confines of Soldier Field since October 6th of 2024, which does hurt a bit to admit, but that's the truth. And for all the fans who've bought those not so affordable anymore tickets to all those home losses, this franchise owed you this win. And we're gonna start by talking about our QB, Caleb Williams, and his performance this game. After showing flashes of improvement through the first 2 weeks, Caleb played the best game of his young career against his old coach on Sunday. With a career-high passer rating of 142.6, no interceptions, 4 touchdowns, which earned the city of Chicago free hot dogs from the Wiener Circle. Thanks, Caleb. And maybe most importantly, that rebuilt offensive line looked as solid as we've seen it yet, allowing Caleb to stay clean and avoid being sacked for the first time in his career. He was able to use that clean pocket to complete 67.9% of his passes, very close to the goal Ben Johnson set for him at the start of the season of 70% completion percentage for the year. Inside the pocket, he averaged over 11 yards per attempt and made over 80% of his pass completions from within the pocket, proving all the doubters wrong and showing he can play within structure and giving us fans hope that this is just the beginning of a fruitful and hopefully long-lasting relationship with a qualified play caller and leader in Ben Johnson. Caleb is the first Bears quarterback to throw 4 touchdown passes with no interceptions or sacks since Rex Grossman in a 34-7 victory over the Lions in 2006. And check this out. That was also the last season the Bears played in the Super Bowl, my friends. So you're telling me there's a chance. And just in today, the news came in that Caleb was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. So congrats to him on that, and congrats to the playmakers and O-line who helped him earn that recognition. As for the other stats around the team offensively, we still didn't have a dominating performance by any running back, as Swift still struggled with just 33 yards and a 2.5 yard average on 13 carries. Caleb did spread the ball around a lot on Sunday, and a rookie second rounder Luther Burden got the most out of it in yardage with 3 catches on 3 targets for 101 yards and his first TD on that crazy flea flicker. Rome was targeted the most again with 7, of which he pulled in 3 for 62 yards and another TD. That makes 3 games in a row now where Rome has found the end zone. DJ also got a tutty as he brought in 4 of his 5 targets for 21 yards. All in all, 8 guys collected a pass reception from Caleb on the day, so the ball was spread around. On the flip side of the ball, all, the defense took the ball away 4 times and helped to seal the game for us. Tremaine Edmonds was all over the field as he logged 15 tackles to lead the team and came away with 2 picks. Tyreek Stevenson yanked the ball away too for a takeaway, and Kevin Byard got into the takeaway fun too with a pick for himself. That's the good of the defense, but the reality is they still gave up almost 400 yards to the Cowboys, who were without CeeDee Lamb after he went down early with an ankle injury. They allowed a per rush average of 6.1 yards too, which is not so great. But ultimately, they came up big with the turnovers that got us the win. So us fans got to celebrate our first victory of the year. And I got to hang out with and meet a bunch of you at the tailgate before the game. And I want to say another thanks to my friends at Waterloo Sparkling Water for their hospitality and sending the invite. And then I got to watch the game at the bar with my good friend Ryan Shiverini, which was a blast. And then props to him and the whole crew over at ABC7 for sharing my post-game song with everyone too.
And finally, back to the Bears. Super fan and good friend of mine, Dave Swerski, sums up how fans are feeling each week, win or lose. I'd say they're feeling pretty good right now.
The Bears are now 1-2. The Bears are now 1-2. This team, they finally came true. Wow!
I actually watched the game with Dave Swerski yesterday. I'm not making that up. Thank you for writing that song for us, and check him out online.
Okay.
He's
so talented and makes a new one up every time.
That's awesome.
Way to go, Dave.
All right.
Cheers to you guys. My hope is you had as much fun as I did celebrating this win, and that we are all dancing and singing along to another happy Swerski parody song next week too, after another win. Let's go! Now the talk of the town after this one was a 19-play drive that the Bears had in the third quarter, which included 11 straight runs to demoralize and wear down Flus's defense. That drive took almost 10 minutes off the game clock, the longest drive by play calls since 2009 for the Bears. And we gotta hope it's a sign of an improving run game that will be able to be leaned on as the season goes along. So now, through the first 3 weeks of the season, our beloved team ranks 10th in total offense, 11th in passing offense, and 15th in rushing offense, while also being 4th in third down conversions. So, while the first 2 weeks didn't produce the results we were hoping for with 2 straight losses, the Swerski silver lining here is this team is just scratching the surface of their potential as they start to gel and operate within this new offensive scheme. And if you look to the stats, it's looking like a pretty significant improvement from last year. Now, defensively, through 3 weeks, it doesn't look quite so good, with our Bears ranking 29th in total defense, allowing 387 yards per game, 27th in passing defense at 247.7 yards passing allowed every game, and 26th in rushing defense with 139.3 rushing yards allowed per game. They are still beat up and have played some high-powered offenses, but it's got to improve if we want to stand a chance going forward. And next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas this upcoming Sunday. So we will get to see if the Bears can get back to 500 there and go on a winning streak of 2 in a row before heading into our 5th week bye week. I'll have my game preview for that one out later this week, so keep an eye out for that. We are currently sitting last in the NFC North at 1-2, while all other 3 teams now sit at 2-1. We're ready, Chef Pulse.
And the last thing, the most important piece, is we're going to take the North and never give it back.
Let's go. So now, let's move on to action around the league in my weekly game picks. Last week, my friends, was not my best week. I unfortunately went 8-8, but honestly, the fact that I got the Bears game right is all I care about. There were certainly some crazy finishes this past weekend and some significant injuries too, as they are starting to pile up early around the league. Let's see how I do with this week 4 slate. Here we go. All right, we start out the week with Thursday Night Football and the Seahawks heading to Arizona. I'm going with Seattle in this one. Now, this next game is pretty interesting. This game is going down in Dublin, Ireland. And the Vikings will be without JJ McCarthy once again. So it's the Carson Wentz show, part 2. I'm gonna go on record and say I did not have on my bingo card the Vikes putting up 48 points last week without it. So can Wentz do it again in Dublin? I want to pick against the Vikings for the purposes of the Bears. But I do think they will find a way to win this one, and then the questions about who starts at QB going forward this year could get pretty interesting. At the time of this taping, I'm not sure if Jaden Daniels is back for this one, and I'm still shocked about last weekend's blanking of the Falcons by Carolina. Seems like Washington has the edge regardless. Commanders win this one. Chargers win over Jackson Dart in his first NFL start for the Giants. In a battle of winless 0-3 teams, give me the Texans at home to win this one. Eagles' luck runs out, and they get beat by the Bucs at home in Tampa. Panthers beat up the Patriots. Bills bulldoze the Saints. The Lions at home beat the Browns, as it looks like the Cats have found themselves again after a bad first game this season. And Niners beat the Jags. Rams beat the Colts in a close, high-scoring affair. The Bears. Now, Ravens-Chiefs is always a good game, and this season is a weird one for them both. Derrick Henry losing fumbles in key moments of games for the Ravens to lose is a new one for me, and the Chiefs being 1-2 and lacking the same offensive identity they've seemed to have for forever is also kind of new. Now, this game is in KC, and one of the 1-2 squads has to win, and the other might be in panic mode after it's done. But give me the Chiefs, I guess, due to home field and refs advantage. The last game Sunday night is another one of intrigue, as Micah gets to take on his old team when the Packers head to Dallas that night. Now, I very much hate the Packers, as we all know, but I also very much wouldn't mind watching Jerry Jones have to watch Micah run wild on his precious Cowboys. So here's where I'm at with this one, my friends. Now, last week, I did a weird thing for me. I picked the Pack to win, which made me feel ill because I never do it. But in so doing, the Packers lost, you see? So, I'm thinking I'm gonna test that theory again and say Packers win this one, hoping that leads me to be wrong. 3-dimensional chess, my friends. Green Bay sucks. And then to end the week, we have a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. First up, the Jets head to Miami in another matchup of winless 0-3 teams, and I think the Dolphins finally notched their first win in that one. And last up, I think the Broncos take care of the Bengals in Denver to close out Week 4. And there you have it. Swerski's Week 4 NFL game picks are in, my friends. Let's go! And that's gonna do it for me here today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, be kind to each other, and be kind to yourself too. And go Bears! See you for my game preview of Bears Raiders in a few days, my friends. Da Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears. Da Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears. 2 in a row, guys! Let's go!